At this moment, we have converted these classes using Zoom online. Now, the notes for today's session is in my blog, itforseniors.wordpress.com. If you wish to have a soft copy, just go to my blog. At the bottom right-hand corner, there's a word follower. Click on it and submit your email address. Subsequent posts by me on notes, normally I post it about 3 or 4 days before the actual day. Like this one was posted, I think, on Monday or Sunday. Now, since the COVID-19 start, I have converted all my topics to online. And till now, we have completed 7 topics. And all these topics are fully recorded in my blog. And to make life easy, I even created a link to the respective talk. So if you're interested in Windows 10, just go to the post on Windows 10, click on the link, and you will get a repeat of what I talked during that time. And there's some notes also on the blog for you to refer to. Now, today's topic, I try to cover 4 aspects. And 2 weeks later, I will cover another 5 aspects. So today is generally on how to take good pictures and what is the meaning of taking a good pictures, and all these details we can discuss. And if you have some points that view my explanation in a different angle, do share with us your views on how to take good pictures. Now, for those who totally know nothing about taking good pictures, just start with these 4 points. You rest assured you will take wonderful pictures. So if you understand these 5 points, I would say you pass the primary 6 level. If you can understand the 2 parts I share with you, you pass A level. That is roughly how I judge the quality of the pictures that most of you show me. So, okay, first point definitely is steady hands. So I have tested myself. My hand only steady if I set the speed to 1/125. So if you are worse than me, if the photo shows that you are worse than me, then you have to set higher speed. Higher speed means the bottom number is bigger. You can set even 1 to 500 if you want to on some of those expensive camera. But for smartphone, I don't think you can do all this. Everything is done for you automatically. So second thing, some of you may not be aware, it's a very good point. Make sure the sun is at your back so that the sunlight is shining on the subject. Third point, this is a very famous wanted rule. Any photography classes you attend, most likely the trainer will tell you to follow this rule. I will explain what is this rule. I will give you 9 more afterwards. Now, if you talk to any person who are interested in photography, they are very particular on light falling onto the subject. So if there's not enough light, either in the indoor photography or what you do, you make light. That's why you see sometimes they carry very big umbrella with a light reflecting back way, side way, all that. It's because they do not want any shadow onto the face of the subject. If there's shadow like the nose, or shadow, that's no good. So they make sure that all the shadows are eliminated by falling the light on the subject at the right direction. Last but not least, be creative. Now, these are the things, if you go one step further than my earlier slide, is that you can go to library and borrow some photography book. Focus on these few points first to gain your confidence and experience on taking good photograph. Aperture, speed, distance I will discuss this one at a time later. Sensitivity, photo resolution, composition, and sometimes you may need to learn a bit of editing. If you are serious, you can buy an editing program and they give you more tools, so to speak. Now, okay, aperture is the opening and closing of the shutter. Because in your camera, there's one very sensitive chip that receives the details of the subject that you intend to take. So this one control how much light you want to allow the camera to fall onto the sensor. And they describe the aperture in this scale. Definitely, if you buy more expensive camera, the range is more. That means f2, you can go to f1.8 or even f1.5. And on the smaller side, the bigger the number, the smaller is the hole. You can go to f24 or things like that. So this is their calculation. f8 is half of f5.6. So every step is half of what the previous one is. And if you want to be creative, you can use aperture to play on the depth of field. I will explain later what is called depth of field. The next is the speed, how fast you want the shutter door to close after you click the camera. So as I said, smartphone, you have no this control you don't have. It's only you buy manual camera, you learn and you can do all that. So the setting of the speed, as I said, this range is only for moderate price camera. If you buy expensive one, they can even have 1/500, and the other one, they can even have a continuous opening and things like that. So if you cannot hold the camera still using a manual camera, my advice is set 1/125 or faster. You have to do the test yourself, depend on your reaction of holding. Another trick of getting the camera steady is, especially when you're outdoor and don't have a tripod, is to put your hand rest onto a railing. That is another way. Or if you totally don't have any railings or what we normally advise is put your hands as close to your body as possible and have a deep breath before you click the shutter. That are all the ways, tricks you can do to steady the camera if you are the type of people who always move your hands. Distance is normally fixed by an automatic sensor. It's the distance between the camera and the subject. So if you don't use the automatic setting, you want to do manual, if your distance setting is very far out, the picture will not be sharp and will be out of focus. But normally people don't play about this. They let the camera do the automatic adjustment. It's very accurate. Unless you want to be creative and do something different, that is a different thing. Photo resolution is how detailed is your photo. And in photography, the detail is measured by the number of pixels. If you take a newspaper, any photo of the newspaper, you use a magnifying glass and look at it carefully, you will notice the picture is actually made up of a lot of dots. It can be colored picture, it can be a black and white picture, but it's made of dots. So the more dots it has, the closer is the fixture, and the more details are there in the picture. I will show you some example of this also. So we always say that when you take picture, like for those professional photographer, when they take a picture of the model for advertisement, that picture, the resolution can be as high as 10 meg, 20 meg. We are taking picture, maybe nowadays, I think the camera can give you about 1 meg for average price camera. So my advice is, if you want to take for printing in any of the Photoshop, make sure your image minimum has 300K. If less than that, your picture may not be developed in a proper way. So my standard is 300 is the minimum. The more the better. More details, the picture will be give you more details of the story. Now, this is a very interesting topic. Composition, you read every word, you see what are the things included in this simple word composition. It has the element of placement. Placement is how you place the subject. Colors. You have to be particular of the subject wearing the dress or shirt. Make sure they are not of the same color. Same color, you place them at different location. So you have the contrast. That's how you play contrast. And lines. Sometimes you want people to focus on something at the end of the line. What is the thing? So all these normally played by people who do advertising photography. They want to draw you to something so that finally you will read the product that they are promoting. Symmetry is also a good way to try. Viewpoint, don't always take your subject at eye level. You can take above the eye level or below the eye level. I'll give you some example later. Depth of field. Framing is to focus on the subject. Have something to enclose the subject in the natural form. Inspired. Is your picture tells a story that inspires people to be good or to be whatever it is. That depends on your message of your picture. Impact. Whether you can impact the person emotionally or whatever way. Impress. Cropping is for picture you can say, take it properly and you want to remove some area. Normally we call it dead space to enhance the subject. Some photos have a message or statement to tell. And the other thing is what is the noise in the picture? What is called dead space in the picture? All this will be discussed. Okay, dead space. I draw a white arrow down there. That is the dead space. Behind the man is the dead space. So if you take a picture and put the man at the center, you will know the difference. The impact is not there. What is this man doing? It's up to you to guess. It may be talking to the sky, or it may be having a wonderful time looking at the scenery, whatever it is, you can interpret it yourself. But this picture is to show you what is called dead space. So never take a picture with a lot of dead space. So dead space can also cover space of the sky, can also cover the fields, the land, and sometimes you can just improve it by cropping. So if you have a man picture at the center, you can crop it away, but sometimes after you crop away, you don't have the right aspect ratio, then you're also in trouble. Okay, this is a picture not taken properly to focus on what the story wish to tell. So how to improve on it? You see the glass verge got too much, you occupy about half the picture area. So no good. So just remember this picture and see this picture. Just by a simple cropping. And you notice this picture, the focus of the subject is the unique building, maybe at the mountainside. This picture is in Japan, taken by me. And there are some visitor going inside there to visit this Japanese house. I forgot what is inside. So again, this is how you crop the picture. It's the same picture with the same aspect ratio, and you see the difference. It improves a lot. It enhances the nature with a lot of trees on top, and the people engage in discussion and things like that. Now, to explain the meaning of noise in the picture, I've given you these two. Hope you understand it. A photo represents a moment in time. Remember, I'm not talking about video. I'm talking about a simple camera, whether smartphone camera or manual camera, you only have that moment of time to capture whatever you want to capture. So you must be always on the alert with the finger at the shutting there and take whatever you need to take. The next section, I will show you some of those things that apply this understanding. Okay, now we go to composition in details. I got the 10 points from the internet, but I interpret it my way, okay? Okay, first is the 1/3 rule. What do you mean by 1/3 rule? If you see your viewfinder, the white space is your viewfinder, the 4 black circle is the 1/3 rule. So if you put the subject any way vertical or horizontal along this line, you have meet this requirement. And I can assure you the picture is more attractive and it gives more meaning to the picture. Or you can tell more story. Rather than you need to edit it, like just now what I told you that you didn't take a good picture, then you edit it. Also can, if you have room for editing, but why not take it the first time that is right? Okay, so 1/3 rule. So you see, the 1/3 rule applied, okay? The subject is about 1/3 vertically on that location. So the picture tells a story of what type of organ it is and how young or how old is the child learning the organ. And if you can zoom into the music score, you can see what is the title of the song. So it tells a story that at that age, this young girl is learning organ. Incidentally, in the past, Yamaha accept children 4 years old to start learning music. And that is what I have done to my children. Okay, balancing is the second rule or second advice. Don't say rule, second advice. So to explain this in words is a bit difficult. But if I give you a picture, you will understand what I mean. You notice the subject is the sumo wrestler, that is the subject. Also follow the 1/3 rule. And where is the balancing element? The umpire is the balancing element. Also 1/3 rule. So you notice the main and not so important subject on the side, but it's relevant to the story because sumo wrestling always need a referee or they call it umpire or whatever they call it. Okay, so it tells the story. Okay, so if you take picture with this type of understanding, you will get very good story behind it and whatever it is. Here's another one. The young girl, the brother, there is the brother, he is holding the brother in dear life because I think she's scared to fall down, I think. So that's a balancing. You notice the 1/3 rule also apply. And instantly this boy just completed A level. So you see how old is this picture. Okay, the third tip is leading lines. Leading lines give some mystery to the story. Like for example, what is the end of the, what after the turn? What will happen, or what do you reach a town or do you reach a field or whatever it is? So you give some mystery to the subject.
Why so late? Yeah.
Okay, so this is another one. You have a very long road, and the road start to bend and turn. So if you take at this angle, you are giving the viewer a suspense. What is happening after the turn? So because most of us can only see 2 dimensions. So this is a 2-dimension picture. So at the back of the building is considered 3 dimension. It is there, but you can't see it. But now science go up to, I think, 7 dimension. Symmetry and pattern. This is start to get creative. Okay. You can read these notes from my blog later on. But just to give you an example, so this is called symmetry. This is not taken by me. This is taken by professional photographer. What we did is once in a while, when everybody is around, we engage a professional photographer to spend with us one morning or one afternoon. Definitely we pay them lah. Then they will compose the composition. And by that, I also learn from them. All these are my grandchildren, 8 of them. Okay, viewpoint. Viewpoint, as I say, don't always take picture at eye level. Try to experiment and be brave. If you have opportunity, not say every time you must do it. Try to do it. So this is one of them. You engage with the subject. You actually stood down same level as the subject. So that is called viewpoint. Here's, okay. Next one is background. Background is very simple. Normally people use black or white, but you can use any color as long as you understand the color wheel. You go to Google, you just type color wheel and they will teach you everything about color wheel. If you don't understand what's the meaning of color wheel, you look at some ladies in the shopping center. They wear red and black, very matching, okay? And they got green and black, so it depends. So background is for you to match the color of the subject. Learn from the color wheel, you will get all that good pattern combination. This is one of them, the background. This is another one, the white background, also taken by professional photographer, not by me. Also my 8 grandchildren. Now, depth of field. To achieve depth of field, sometimes we intentionally make the background out of focus in order to emphasize on the subject. And this type of technique is very much used in a wedding photograph. You know, in wedding photograph, what you want is the bride and bridegroom. You want to make sure that is their big day, so you want to make sure they are on focus, so you blur the background. So normally there are other techniques, but this is one of the very common technique. So I just give you one example from the internet. So you see the forefront of the subject is all on focus. So as you see beyond there, the hills and all that, they're a bit blur and all that. Some of them are very bad in the sense that they even make it very blur until you can't even see the further away those hills and all that. So it depends on how you play with the aperture. This one all are played by the aperture. Framing. Framing, as I say, is to focus on the subject. So one very common technique they use is, if you have opportunity, you do it this way. This is a very common one. In a lake, you enclose the subject. Cropping. I explained before what is cropping. So here I give you another example of cropping. So this picture is not taken properly. It don't have the, you know what you call it, pom, the type of the extraction. So what to do? You see, you can do it this way. Okay, I do again. This way, you crop it, you can emphasize on the subject. So all this you can try. And one thing good about nowadays compared to the olden days, nowadays everything is digital. You don't like it, you just delete the file away. In the olden days, if you take one picture wrong, that is one picture wrong. Because you develop it to see the picture, and it's no good, that is the money you pay for that not so good picture. But nowadays it's very simple. Anything you don't like, just delete away. So it is good that if you have opportunity, take as much angle as possible. One day I attended one of the talk by one photographer. She is a lady specialized in taking insects and reptiles. So somebody asked a question, why you're so lucky you get the lighting on the insect so perfect? Then he say, oh, I learned Tai Chi, I also take the picture in all angles, That means, first of all, learn Tai Chi means you don't scare the insect away, because you scared the flow will fly away. So you must be as steady as possible, slowly turn your angle around so that you don't know how the sunlight shine onto the butterfly or bee or what. And after that, when you come back and see on your screen, then you choose the best one. So what she told us is, you walk a park, maybe 45 minutes you complete it. She and her husband walk the park, take 4 hours. So you just see how passionate the lady is in taking photograph of insects. And all these are around Singapore. We are not talking about she's going overseas to do. And I'm surprised that there are so many insects you can find if you care to spend some time to look at them. They are very beautiful. Okay, the last one is just take anything. Even though at the moment of taking, you don't know why you take it. Okay? Then you experiment it. So I took this. This one is in USA Highway 1. And this tree, I forgot the name. This tree was chopped down by people many times. I don't know how they go and grow it back. I don't know. And what you're looking, if you want to dream, that is the direction of Singapore. But don't forget, this is the Pacific Ocean we're talking about. I take 4 days to go to Hawaii from this point. So if you want to go to Singapore, Hawaii is somewhere in the middle of Pacific Ocean. So you may have to take about 7 to 8 days on a cruise to really from this point sail to Singapore. So you can see the story, you can tell many stories. So what you see is just the horizon. You see nothing, it's just water. If you want to experiment with photo taking, you can take this silhouette. Silhouette is some sort of shadow picture. And there are many forms. Some of the very classic one in the internet you can find is like a camel in the Sahara Desert. You try to wait until sunset and you take it, then you will get the silhouette of the camel plus the sky. It's very interesting if you take it. So I managed to try it. I got this myself. So this was taken in Switzerland, hotel window, and this is just a lake in Switzerland. This is not so dark yet because it's still very early in the sunset. If I wait longer, then my subject will be darker. So, but the technique is the same, the technique. This picture has a story to tell. It's a very famous picture from in the internet. I took it to explain to you all that professional photographer, when they take picture, it's always there's a story to tell. Actually, they're taking lunch break during this time. So my story is, this is my story. A moment in time. This picture gives us an insight how after World War II, the skyscraper were constructed in New York and elsewhere by people with their limited resources. Remember, at that time, there's no such thing as overhead crane. Everything have to be brought up manually, okay? There's even no lift. I don't think the lift is ready for them to do the job. And in the olden days, there's no such thing as welding. Everything is by bolt and nut. That means they get the rivet. They just hammer the rivet and join them. These notes are also in the blog. This is another picture. This picture, this photographer won the Pulitzer Prize in 1994. Definitely, it has a story to tell. If you go to internet Wikipedia, you will read the full story of this photographer. What actually happened is, I think you can call him a man. This man is about 1 hour from the relief center to provide food for them. So this photographer from the relief center wandered off 1 hour away and saw this and took a picture. It tells a story. You know, the voucher is for what? It's waiting for him to eat. So it's a very pitiful sight. So pitiful until his colleague commented on him and he felt guilty and he took his own life by pumping the exhaust gas from the car to him, and then he killed himself because he felt guilt that he didn't help this man. This man never achieved to go to the care center. So I also have a story to tell, and this is my words on the story. Feeling of life and death, impact on starvation, uneven distribution of wealth, food, and effects on natural calamity, still happening in the 20th century. So during 1994, during that time, Africa is still very backward. So when the weather is not on their side, the crop all cannot grow or die, they need external help. So this is one of the story I can tell. These are my words. These are not from the internet.